Hi Sunidhi,
Hello, ma'am.
congratulations.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Congratulations for clearing SEBI legal exam. How are you feeling?
Ma'am, I'm feeling good, elated.
Okay. So, Sunidhi, in this session, I want to record your journey, your strategy of preparation. So, before starting, tell a little bit about your profile. When did you graduate? Were you working or not?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, I completed my graduation from SRCC and
Okay.
in BCom honors, and I did my LLB from Campus Law Center, Delhi University, and finally I did my LLM from Indian Law Institute in the year 2020.
Okay.
And initially, my focus was on academics. So I wrote research papers and I qualified UGC NET. And subsequently, I was teaching as a guest faculty in Jamia Millia Islamia.
Okay.
So that was till May 2023.
Right.
But after that, I thought that I have an inclination towards corporate laws. I always had. So
Okay.
I started focusing my preparation towards competitive exams.
Okay, so your switch from academics to government exam preparation. And during this period, were you also working somewhere apart from guest faculty, which could be used in SEBI legal experience?
No, ma'am, just guest faculty.
Okay, so you filled the SEBI legal form as a fresher.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and since 2023, you started preparing for government exams. So, what all exams did you target?
Ma'am, initially I only got half-baked success. I appeared for SEBI Legal Mains in 2023, but I did not clear the mains exam. And I also appeared for ECGC interview and NAPID interview, but
Okay.
I couldn't make it to the final list. Finally, in 2024, I was selected in IBPS SO Legal, but I kept my preparation going, and it was around this time that there was an advance notification for SEBI Legal that was released.
Right, right. And then you decided to give SEBI legal.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how did you prepare for all these exams together? Initially, IBPS, SO law, and then SEBI legal. There are various subjects that you have to prepare. Maths, quantitative aptitude is there, then reasoning, English. In SO law, there is no quantitative aptitude, but reasoning, English, and GA in prelims. While in SEBI legal, the pattern is a bit different. So, how did you manage your preparation for all these together, for all the subjects?
Ma'am, my strategy was almost the same for every single exam, but I curated it a little bit more for SEBI and for IBPS-SO, because in IBPS-SO there is a GA part.
Yes.
So my focus a little bit shifted towards the GA portion specifically for IBPS-SO. But for SEBI, I only took point of three aspects, that is the quants, English, and reasoning part.
Okay.
So my focus was only on these three things.
Okay, so your quantitative aptitude and reasoning part was good enough to appear for the phase one, paper one.
Yes, ma'am. My English was good, and for quants, I basically preferred Neha Arora ma'am's live classes. So she was very good at explaining percentage, number series, allegation. So that was very useful. But for the English and reasoning part, and for the rest of the portion, I just focused on my mock tests. So I gave mock test every single day.
Okay, so just to be clear, you were there with ixamBee for IBPS, SO law, and SEBI legal both courses.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
Okay. Now let's specifically talk about SEBI legal preparation. So, how did you go for your phase one, both paper one and paper two preparation, and then for phase two, both paper one and paper two? Because even in phase two, there are SEBI regulations and then there is descriptive paper. So, let's talk about paper wise. How did you manage your preparation? What all sources you used?
Okay, ma'am. So for prelims paper one, I've already talked about English, quants, and reasoning. I
Yes.
did not, I completely skipped the GA part for paper one.
Okay.
And for paper two, I just focused on the bare acts, multiple bare act readings. So I completely skipped CPC because it was sheer voluminous.
Yes.
Skipped that part. And for phase two, my focus was basically on reading bare act multiple times, but also making sure that I supplement it with the case laws and case summaries. So for that, I preferred my LLB notes. I complemented the bare act reading with my LLB notes. That was for the legal part. the
Okay.
paper two part. And for paper one, I attempted the descriptive mocks which were available on ixamBee, and the further points as well as some additional points on the internet helped me a lot. There was specifically an essay on ESG which was covered in the ixamBee mock descriptive portion, as
Right.
well as it was there in SEBI. So that was a very important point for me in the
That's
preparation.
that's great. So while you were there in the SEBI legal comprehensive course, for the legal portion, what all content did you find quite useful for your preparation?
Ma'am, basically the live classes which were there basically by you and Neha ma'am and Amrita ma'am. Those
Right.
were very crucial for me, and they helped me clear a lot of doubts. And especially the MCQ sets which were available, those were very crucial, both in the prelims and as well as in the mains portion.
Okay. So did you used all the MCQ booklets that were there in the course?
Almost, ma'am.
Okay. And what about summary sheets and descriptive booklets? Were you able to use them?
Yes, ma'am. I did refer to the descriptive booklets, but basically I focused on bare act reading. It was the main focus and the case laws.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And Sunidhi, during your preparation, so you've been preparing for around 1.5 year, and you managed to clear so many exams.
Right.
Were there anything specific that you think has helped in your strategy?
Ma'am, I think one has to be very clear about the bare acts, and the more we look into the bare acts, the more we study, it will give us a very important aspect of linking the sections. And that is very important. If we are able to link the sections and understand the overall idea, that is very crucial. And it is very important not just to look into the bare acts, but also understand the basic acts. Like if we look into IPC or CRPC, we have to understand the procedures which are involved, as well as the same thing goes for Companies Act and securities law. In the descriptive paper this time in SEBI, it was a bit difficult in that way
Right.
because the descriptive portion was unprecedented. It
Yes.
never came before. So if one has a very clear idea about the basics and the overall picture, it is very crucial for preparation.
Right, right. And what is something that students, the other aspirants, should avoid?
Ma'am, I think it's very important to be disciplined. So wasting time is not a very good idea in this preparation point. As well as it is important to make only small targets, not very elaborate and long-term targets. Though long-term targets are crucial, but their everyday targets will be very good if one has to go for a very long-term preparation.
Okay.
So these were the focal points.
So, Sunidhi, when you were preparing, so how much time on an average were you be able to study on a daily basis?
Ma'am, I did not count it per se, but it was almost as if the continuation is studies and everything is in breaks.
Right.
Everything. So I think it was approximately 7 to 8 hours on an average daily basis that I
Okay.
studied.
And if suppose a fresher or a student starts their preparation today, so according to your understanding, how much time will a student take to cover up the syllabus once and to prepare for the exam?
Ma'am, if one is preparing now and they are fresh LLB graduates with
Yes.
the right kind of guidance, which ixamBee does provide, I think it will take around 6 to 8 months to prepare fully for any competitive exam. But one has to be very dedicated in that.
Right. And then they can appear for all the exams, like you also targeted many exams,
Right.
and probably they'll clear it in first or second attempt.
Definitely, ma'am.
Right. Sunidhi, anything else you feel you can guide the aspirants about?
Yes, ma'am. I think the interview phase, it's very important to have an overall idea about one's profile.
Yes.
This time, profile-based questions as well as HR questions were asked. So one has to be very vigilant about the things which are happening, as well as it is important to take note of the hypothetical situations. For example, I was asked an HR question which was based on a conflict situation in a teamwork environment and the linkage with my teaching experience. So in these kinds of questions, active thinking is very important, I think.
Okay.
And apart from that, it's a very holistic preparation because in interview also technical questions are asked and domain-based knowledge is very important. And there they also try to understand if one can link the domain-based knowledge with the case laws. So that is also very crucial. I think one has to be on their toes throughout the preparation phase.
Right, right. So, Sunidhi, as we are talking about the interview, how did you all prepare for all of this in the interview, and how was your mock interview vis-a-vis the actual one?
Ma'am, the exam B mock interview was very crucial for me, and I think that gave me an overall idea about how to go about the interview. So I gave two interviews, and one was with exam B, other
Okay,
was with EduTap. And
okay,
in that interview, I understood that I have to prepare from five aspects. One is SEBI website, another one is the annual report, which was recently released, and then comes the newspaper reading, case laws, and domain knowledge.
right.
Apart from that, it is very obvious that one has to prepare for the profile. So, Sanjeev sir and Neha ma'am took my mock interview, and I think they really helped me understand all the essential aspects of the interview. So,
Okay,
that was very crucial.
okay. And how was your actual interview? What kind of questions did you expect? You have mentioned about a case situation question.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
apart from that, what kind of questions were there?
Ma'am, it was basically all technical based questions. They wanted a very clear understanding of domain knowledge. So they asked me questions from admin law, SEBI Act, Companies Act, constitutional law, and also to link some of the aspects to SEBI, like
Okay,
the recent cases. And they asked also questions based on my profile, which were very specific.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, so that is really very helpful, Sunidhi. I hope other students will be able to take cues from your strategy, and you have guided a lot about for to the other students. Anything else you feel you can add, or anything that is coming on the top of your head?
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think this is the overall strategy, ma'am, but very important is to maintain consistency. If one is consistent in preparation and there are no gaps of any sort, that is very crucial because we never know when the notifications come and which exams are the next. So a basic idea of all the important laws if one is focusing in the corporate field. So Companies Act, Securities Law, and criminal laws basic idea, all these things will be very crucial for a long term preparation. If one does this, then they can focus on multiple exams at the same time.
Okay, that's really great, and that's really helpful, Sunidhi. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your all the strategies, and I hope other students will get help from it. Thank you so much, Sunidhi, and congratulations once again from the
Thank you
entire
so much,
team.
ma'am.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm very grateful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.